Hi, and welcome to the VOILA Method podcast, Solutions for the Mind, Body, and Soul with Joel Crandall, the creator and developer of the VOILA Method. The VOILA Method bridges the gap between the complex, making it simple, using an assessment and a treatment protocol that aligns the mind, the body, and the spirit. VOILA Method is more than a technique, it's a lifestyle to help you as a practitioner and your clients.
Okay,
And
good.
today,
And today's guest is Michael Padula, who is a VOILA method practitioner and an exercise specialist. Thank you for joining me this morning, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you. I just saw you over the weekend. So pleasure to see you so soon.
Always love seeing you.
Now, Michael, my first and always question for my people that I interview here is, as a VOILA practitioner, how has VOILA method helped you, your lifestyle, and your clients?
Well, I actually found VOILA by accident. I do five other modalities, and I was training in the gym, had a shoulder injury. And I said, no big deal. I'll go to my friend in New York City, works with all the best athletes. He'll take care of this. I'll be back in no time. Well, I went to the city. 2 days later, the pain came back, just as bad as it originally was. So I spent 6 months, saw the best from New York City to Philadelphia, North Jersey, Cherry Hill, and no one was making my shoulder better. It was 0% better. So at the end of 6 months, I was about to give up working out. And I found a VOILA practitioner by accident on the internet. And I said, you know what? I tried everything else, didn't work. I have nothing but, let's try this, see what happens. So I go in and she starts testing me, and I thought that was interesting because no one else tested me for 6 months. So right there I said, wow, I like that. And for a session, she made me about 95% better.
Wow.
In my second session, she Skyped with you, and I was 98% better until we got to level 1.5. I was blown away. I said, I need to learn this. So 6 months later, I was in level 1 in Newark, New Jersey.
That's right. I remember you in that Skype session, and you reminded me that you were the one on the Skype session. But I remember in that class, at lunchtime, I believe it was on Sunday, you sent me a challenging text. You're like, hey, if you can fix my buddy who's seen everybody, we'll buy in. So I sent you a text back. Then why don't you come on up for a demo?
Yep. So my friend Kevin, who's a strength coach in North Jersey in Fairfield, he's been worked on by the best on the planet. He's been worked on by guys that create modalities. And no matter who works on him, within 2 weeks, usually a week, he's back to Kevin with his issues. He's got a lot of issues. So I said, you want to impress me? Fix Kevin. So Kevin went up to the front of the room.
Waddling, wasn't he? Just waddling.
Waddling, leaning forward, as Kevin does. You made like 2 minor corrections, what I thought were minor corrections. Mm-hmm. He got up and he walked straight down, rock solid. And I was like, okay, you got my attention.
I remember the comment to you both was, you got to bring me something harder than this. It was too simple. It really was. I think it was a simple little nose correction or something, if I remember.
That's it. Yeah. It was a nose correction.
Yeah. And it just turned his core back on, turned everything right back on again. Now, Michael, I know, you're level 4. You just got done doing level 4. And can you maybe tell us about some of what VOILA has done for you as far as your working out and your exercises, or maybe even a client or two that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, I had a client in New York City. He's probably like one of the best strength coaches in New York City. And he had hip pain. And he told me, the doctor that worked on, who I know for 20 years, works with all the best athletes on the planet. He was worked on by an osteopath who I studied under for 3 years. He was worked on by a PT from Australia, PTs in New York City, still had hip pain. So let me give it a shot. He said, absolutely. So after 4 sessions, a couple days after the 4th session, I get a text. I just front squatted into the Bulgarian split squats, pain-free for the first time. I'm like, that's awesome. So by the way, you never told me how long have you had that pain for? He goes, 19 years. And I was like, whoa. Holy God, I didn't ask him prior.
No pressure, right?
So I've seen VOILA do magic for people. It's made me, I'm pretty much a low-key guy, but it's made me more centered and more grounded, for sure.
And you had a pretty big change in level 3 with your eyes.
Oh, yeah. With level 3, we went to Lincoln, Nebraska, into Jeremiah's clinic. And on Friday, Jeremiah said, I want to do the right eye test. And I said, okay. I walked into the office, and basically the right eye test is watching a computer screen with your eyes and tracking a red dot to 9 spots. I would have bet my daughter's life I got all 9 spots, and I love my daughter to death.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah goes, you failed. You missed 7 out of 9 dots. I'm like, whoa. So I said, well, what do we do? He goes, well, we can't do the test until you calibrate it. So I said, well, how do we calibrate? He goes, take these cheater glasses, hold these cheater glasses in front of you, and we have to try to calibrate it again. And with the cheater glasses, I got 9 out of 9 dots. We completed the test, and then I went through the course, and on Sunday I was leaving. Jeremiah grabs me and he goes, listen, let's test you again. Let's see how you're doing. So I go to grab the cheater glasses that I used on Friday. He's like, no. Let's try without the cheater glasses. I'm like, Jeremiah, I needed the cheater glasses on Friday because I missed 7 out of 9. He goes, let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? Mm-hmm. We'll do it with the glasses. So I did the calibration without the cheater glasses, and I got 9 out of 9 and continued. So I doubled my score compared to the cheater glasses. So obviously that's higher than double.
Yeah.
So after level 3, I've had great success working with people with concussions, head injuries, ADHD, eye issues. Mm-hmm. I'm going to turn this around and put this on you. Can you explain more about Dr. Nedro, the right eye test, and the proof that we have about level 3?
Yeah, so Dr. Nedro is one of the top neuro-optometrists in the world, and he's out of Lincoln, Nebraska. That's why we had the course there, and he's just a phenomenal man. Jeremiah introduced me to him, and he was trying to, understand what it is that I do with VOILA. I go, well, it's easier just to show you. I go, is there something that you want to work on? He's like, well, my golf swing hasn't been good. He loves playing golf. I go, oh, okay, well, let's take a look at your golf swing. And he can only bring his arms up like this far. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. So I made one little correction, and I'm like, well, let's see what your golf swing looks like. He's like, no. He's like, where's a stick? I want a stick. And he picked up, and the most beautiful, smooth golf swing you've ever seen. He just looked at me and he goes, you got to be kidding me. He goes, you just did one little thing. He goes, you and I need to sit in a room, and I'm going to show you what I know. And I said, well, thank you. That'd be wonderful. And this is one of those guys, we actually did it. We went and ended up spending 2 days in a hotel room, just focused on him teaching me what he does. And then I reverse engineered it, because we don't have this right eye machine, which costs thousands of dollars. So we were able to reverse engineer it and be able to make the corrections manually, which has been fascinating. The right eye is a great piece of equipment. It's used by all Major League Baseball teams, a lot of professional sports teams. So they have a specific program for you to follow the eyes. Dr. Nedro takes that one step further. He has what's called a VEP, which not many people really know what that is about. But what that does is it tests how fast the brain can process information. And that's the other way I got to meet Dr. Nedro was it had a patient come in. She was a track patient and had been in a car accident, I believe, and a severe concussion. But a big like college event was coming up that she was going to be preparing for, but she couldn't, I think she was discus or the hammer or something. She was a very powerful woman. And I'm in LA, they're in Nebraska, and I start assessing her, and they do a VEP test and they get the results. I said, okay, great. Let me run my assessment, made a correction, had somebody there to make the correction for me. They reran the VEP test and her scores totally changed. And Dr. Nedra was like, that's impossible. That just can't happen. But we just showed that it happened. So we had the VEP result test. Maybe what I can do, Michael, is I'll post the results in the comment section of this interview here.
That would be great.
Yeah, so we have some of the right eye stuff, and we have a VEP, which shows how fast the brain can process information, and the faster it can process it, the better. And
right.
VOILA has showed an increase on everybody it's worked on. You know, originally, Michael, I'm talking a lot here, but originally, okay. VOILA was created for that exact thing, to help people with concussions, because I had some major concussions throughout my lifetime. And nothing was working for me. And I had to find something to help me. And I had no idea, nor could I even think of what we have been able to do with VOILA beyond concussions.
Right, right. Actually, after level 4 on Monday, I have a new client, Ann, with MS. And she's had it for about she's been diagnosed about 15, 16 years ago. And starting about 2 years ago, she started having issues walking. She was actually tested on the right eye test.
Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Great.
So I used the level 3 and 4 with her on Monday, and she actually started walking better. We did a basic seated and standing work, and then we did some walking. And I saw her walking better, but I didn't want to say anything. And she looks up at me, she's like, I'm walking better. I said, I saw it, but I want to make sure you feel it.
Yes. It's so important. You know, I think that's a common mistake that people make, is they want to find out, what's that client? What do you feel? And they push them for an answer, or like, this is what I see, instead of allowing the client to experience it. Because once they experience it and they feel it, now it's locked in.
Locked in.
Otherwise, it's just words that going through one ear and right out the other, and it doesn't really mean as much. But if they can get that experience, that experiential experience, that's where the real magic happens.
Absolutely.
I look forward to seeing her doing another right eye test.
Yeah.
That would be phenomenal.
I will let you know.
Yeah. Now, Michael, in the level 4 you just recently came out of, we found with you, your entire right side of your body was not functioning. And also your left glute was more flat, I guess we'll say. Tell us a little bit about your experience, because we've been trying to increase your deadlift here without exercise.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about your experience this morning.
Well, last week I took about 4 or 5 months off from working out and started up again about 3 weeks ago. I started deadlifting last week, and I was surprised how heavy, what should be a lightweight for me, how heavy it felt. So due to the work that I had this week in level 4 by Jorge and John helping, today was not my deadlift day. It's going to be Saturday. But I said, I want to see just exactly how this is working. So at the end of my leg workout, after I was already tired, I put on more weight than I had on the bar last week. And I pulled the bar so fast, I almost fell backwards. I couldn't believe how light it felt. It probably felt about 30% lighter than the weight I used last week. And it was more today.
And you had mentioned earlier that you're more of a grinder kind of a deadlifter instead of a...
Yeah, I'm not explosive for anything. I'm a grinder. I'm a pusher. Don't touch the bar. It's moving. Unless it's coming down, it's going to go up. So I'm not a fast guy. I'm not explosive. And this bar went up. I was like, whoa, caught me by surprise. And I've been lifting since I was 15. So it takes a lot to catch me by surprise in the gym.
Wow. Yeah. So you've been, well, we won't reveal your age, but we'll say probably more than 20 years, right?
Maybe more than double that. I mean, I use it with my athletes that I work with. I use it with myself when I work out. I was powerlifting, as you know, last year. It was the first time I ever did powerlifting, specifically powerlifting. And my lifts went up pretty substantially. Even my coach, who's a very well-known coach in powerlifting, said, you need to do competition. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, your lifts are getting there. We need to set you up for competition. And unfortunately, life got in the way, so I couldn't do that. But without a doubt, it was voila, for sure.
That's awesome. Every athlete I have worked on with VOILA has gone back and set a personal record.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And without doing any exercise. And that's one of the things I woke up with this morning, Michael, thinking, everybody's doing corrective exercise. And what we do with VOILA is correct the exercise before they exercise.
Right.
Right. So we're almost doing pre-movement so they can do the movement. And
Right.
that's key piece that people are missing, because you cannot correct exercise with exercise. It takes too long.
Right.
It takes way too long.
Can you go deeper into that for people watching this?
Yeah. So, with VOILA, we look at the body as a one unit, but also as a pressure system. And if there's a leak in the pressure system, the balloon loses air, right? And now you have no strength. So all we do really is get the diaphragms and what we call keystones. We get those stacked up so everything can work in harmony with each other. And what that does is it locks in these diaphragms so they can function as we move. Because everybody knows, yeah, you can be strong and hold your breath, but now when you go to do an exercise again, you're going to hit the shitter. It's just going to go downhill. So we look at the body as a pressure unit and a system. And once you get that locked in, because we use breath, it's just unbelievable how the body responds and functions. The strength just goes through the roof.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's simple, small movement and exercise, or just a simple balancing is what we call it. It's not hard.
No. Right.
But it sets the client up, or whoever you're working on, to now be successful. What I always find really interesting, Michael, is I'll be in a seminar and I'll make a correction on somebody, and they go back into the group, and also they just start moving, and you just watch them move, and you realize they're moving because their body feels new, it feels different, and they want to now know what it can do, and they'll just start challenging it right off the bat.
Right.
It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I remember after level 2, I came back from the weekend, and I was close grip benching at the time, like 225.
Wow.
And I don't remember, I started testing because I talked to one of the practitioners, said how he tests for what the weight should be. So I said, all right, the test is saying 255. I think that's crazy. That's a lot.
It's a big jump from 225.
What's the worst that could happen? I could get pinned. The guys will come. It'll be a little embarrassing. I don't really care. So I put 255 on, and it went up like that. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
That's a pretty big increase.
That's a huge increase.
That's huge.
It really is. You had I'll call it a tagline for this last weekend that you kept saying throughout class. Can you remember what it is?
I'm drawing a blank. What was I saying?
This shit works. right? Because you could not turn to your right.
Right. It was not comfortable.
Wasn't comfortable at all, was it?
No.
No. Anything else you want to share about that? And what, I can't remember what the correction was for that.
I don't remember either, but I was doing stuff to John and Jorge that the corrections were simple and yet the results were massive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I loved about level 4. In my opinion, I think it took level 1, 2, and 3, made them stronger, yet level 4 was more laser focused.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I honestly, every of the 5 seminars we've taught so far that I have written out, each and every one has exceeded my expectations.
Well, absolutely.
And I go in with big expectations and they've been exceeded. And level 4 was no different. I was like, wow. Wow. Because it was my first time teaching it and doing it outside of myself and Julietta, and to teach someone else how to do it, but to see what you guys were doing with it was just amazing to watch. It was just mind blowing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome.
Really it was. So thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you would like to say to somebody who's thinking about taking the VOILA method?
Do it. I actually have 2 people going to Albany.
Awesome. Awesome. I look forward to meeting.
One person I worked on a couple of weeks ago, and one person was a strength coach that used to work for me. He just told me last night he's going. He said, "Do you think I can do it?" I said, "You can absolutely do it. Go for it." It's life changing. Actually, to bring up Kevin again, Kevin, after level 2 last July, sent me a text saying, "Thank you so much for introducing me to VOILA. It's changed my life."
He's a great man. I love that man. He's awesome.
He is. He's awesome.
He really is. He's just such a big heart, like yourself. Yourself.
Thank you.
Well, Michael, I really appreciate your time and doing this and the big old clock behind you. Any last things you'd like to say? How can we find you, Michael? I know you're in the tri-state area.
I'm in the tri-state area. Yeah, that's a good question. My phone number is 201-248-2014. I'm working on a Facebook business page actually this afternoon with my friend Jerry.
Can you say that number one more time, Michael?
Phone number?
Yeah.
201-248-2014.
Okay.
2014.
2014?
Yep.
Okay, there's a slight cutout there, so I want to make sure everybody has that. Perfect. Anything else?
Thank you for your time. Thank you for VOILA.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for challenging me at the level 1.
Yeah. You've always delivered, and then some.
Awesome, Michael. Well, thank you very much. It was just such a pleasure talking with you, and look forward to meeting up with you soon.
Have a great day.